All right, so there's a problem, and that problem has brought me all the way from Nigeria to China. Now, as you all know, Very Dark Man uses his platform to advocate for victims that have been scammed by online vendors or whichever type of vendor. Now, they use my platform to say, okay, bring this money, or I call you out, and I call you out, not just calling you out, I write petitions, I go to the police, and make sure you get your money back.
Let us take it back. Let nobody tell you there's not enough money. No. Tell me what a governor in Nigeria needs a dispatch rider for. What for? If I tell you how we stop fuel, we used to have a fuel dump when I was governor. Fuel dump. It was costing us almost 30 million a month. I said, what is it? They say, hey! I said, shut it down.
Let me ask you a question, and I want you to be honest with me. If Nigeria is a sinking ship, who would you rather have on the steering wheel? A man with loudspeaker or a man with compass? Today, social media is on fire. Some people are saying Peter Obi is just like VDM. Both of them are human assets. Same noise, different packaging. At first glance, it sounds intelligent. It sounds balanced. It sounds like deep analysis. But is it true? Let us ask ourselves. Or is it one of those Nigerian shortcuts where we oversimplify serious issues just to feel wise? Today, we are not here to insult anybody. Likewise, we are not here to worship anybody. We are here to separate noise from value, emotion from structure, and vibes from vision. I want you to sit tight because by the end of this video, some comparisons will no longer make sense to you. If this is your first time here, take your time to click on the subscription button and turn on the notification bell to notify you whenever we upload a new video. Also like, comment, and share with others to benefit from this update. First, let's agree on one thing. Nigeria loves symbols. We don't always argue with data. We argue with feelings, with tribal memory. That is how one man becomes voice of the masses, hope of the youth, enemy of the system. So when people say VDM and Peter Obi are the same, what they really mean is both of them speak against the system. But my people, speaking against a system is not the same as building an alternative to it. That is where the confusion starts. VDM represents something very real. Frustration. It represents anger. That bottled rage Nigerians carry every day. He talks like the streets. He shouts what many people are afraid to say. He exposes hypocrisy. He embarrasses power. In a country where institutions are weak, noise becomes a weapon. And yes, VDM is a human asset in that sense. Let's be honest with ourselves. VDM operates on reactions, not structure. On call-out culture, not policy culture. Its reaction is on prayer, not process. It thrives where chaos already exists. Remove the chaos, and its relevance will change. That is not an insult anyway. That is the reality. Now, let's talk about Peter Obi on the other side. Peter Obi is not loud. In fact, that is why many Nigerians don't trust him. Because in Nigeria, if you are not shouting, people think you are not serious. But Obi represents something more dangerous to the system than noise. He represents order. He represents budget discipline, institutional thinking, data-driven governance, boring but effective systems. Peter Obi does not trend because of drama. He trends because he reminds Nigerians of what could have been. That is why the system fears him, not because he insults them, but because he exposes them without raising his voice. Here is where Nigerian means it. We use human asset like it is a compliment. But assets to what exactly? Assets to what? Let us ask ourselves. VDM is an asset to public prayer. Peter Obi is an asset to nation building. One agitates, the other organizes. One forces conversation, the other forces reform. You don't use a megaphone to draft policy. and you don't use an accountant to lead protests. Different tools, different jobs. Same frustration, very different solution. When we say they are the same thing, what we are really saying is leadership is just vibes. And that is how Nigeria keeps repeating itself. We confuse energy for competence. We confuse bravery for capacity. We confuse exposure for execution. That mindset is the reason why activists fail in office. Laos leaders collapse under responsibility. Revolutions don't translate into development. Nigeria doesn't lack voices. Nigeria lacks systems. Let me leave you with this. VDM can wake Nigeria up, but it cannot run Nigeria. Peter Obi may not excite everyone emotionally, but he understands how nations are built. And here is the painful truth that nobody is telling Nigerians. A country like Nigeria does not need more anger. It needs direction. So next time someone says Peter Obi and VDM are the same, ask them one simple question. If tomorrow morning Nigeria hands you power, who will you trust with the budget? Let me ask you that question again. If tomorrow morning Nigeria hands you power, who will you trust with the budget? Is it VDM or Peter Obi? Let's just be sincere with ourselves. Who will you trust with budget? Let me see your response in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for videos like this. Like and share with others for them to have a clearer position of these two Nigerians. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.